moving right along. Our next speaker, he is a Brit who lives in Chiang Mai, Thailand's north, and he tells me he is a digital nomad scavenger. I'm not sure what that means, but he's going to let us all know what exactly that entails. So please welcome Chris Smith.
Sound check. If you can't hear me on the top row, can you put your hand up? No? You have to give me a second here. It's a bit loud, guys. Actually, it might be worth... Still a bit loud, guys. Turn it down. Thanks very much. It might be worth, at this point, acknowledging the guys up there. How about turning around and give them all a wave and a shout? Now, you also have to give me a second or so, because it's quite nerve-wracking. And I'm told there's a theory that if you imagine your whole audience to be naked, you feel better. So give me a second. Let me do this side now. Give me a second. This side has definitely been working out a bit, I think. It's, yeah. Right, let me get rid of that image now. I'm not nervous anymore. It's another feeling. It's amazing. We're at the very first TEDx Bangkok at Ruamrudi School. No response. That was no response. Where's the energy? Don't. No, I'm sorry, you're not going to get away with that. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to video you this time, because I need the proof, right? Flip videos. Are you ready? Are you ready? Yeah! Oh, God! Right. I'll do it for the cameras. We're at the very first TEDx Bangkok, which I think is pretty amazing. And it's at Ruamrudi International School. What about that? That's brilliant. Well, that brings me to the end of this talk. I'm going to talk about 3D virtual worlds, and it's a shared presentation between me and my avatar. So this is high risk for me. He's waiting for us now in a virtual world called Second Life. And it's some islands called International Schools Island, and we're going to meet him in between these towers that we've built. There's one challenge you're going to have, and that is that he actually sounds a bit similar to me. He sounds a bit similar to me, so you're going to have to watch my lips. Think of me as Mick Jagger. Watch my lips, right? So let's see if we can actually connect to him. Let's see if it will work.
Hi, TEDx Bangkok gang. It's I, Shamblesguru. But it's probably easier if you just call me Shambles.
Shambles, how are you? Are you ready? You ready for the presentation?
Yep. All ready. I'm a little nervous, but excited at the same time to be able to share our experiences with everybody.
Okay, so let's jump straight in, and because time is tight. And by the way, actually, who's the guy with the camera? Do you want to introduce him?
Well, no, let me introduce you. This is Leon. He's a videographer, but as he's filming in a virtual world, then we use the term machinimist. Leon, how about a few words about yourself?
Hi, I'm Leon Tobruk in the virtual world, Neil Corbett in the physical world. My company, Icarus, is a joint US-UK multimedia team where we build, landscape and code in 3D environments, in addition to recording and editing Machinima for organisations such as ISI.
Leon's a very serious guy. Shambles, maybe you'd start by telling us a bit about yourself and where we are now. What's the location?
Okay, introducing myself. Well, I'm an avatar in an online world that's called Second Life. And I was created back in March 2007 by that human guy on the stage. And he reckons he made me to look like himself in the real world. Yeah, I can see some of you smiling. Don't smile, he gets upset. I think the closest we get is we both have similar glasses. A company called Linden Labs in San Francisco started Second Life in 2002. It's free for you to sign up and create an avatar. There are well over 12 million registrations, and at any one time, there's usually around about 50 or 60,000 people logged in simultaneously. Oh, and yes, I almost forgot, you have to be at least 18 years old to come into the main grid, as it's called, of Second Life. And now I'm standing in the welcome area of an estate consisting of 3 islands, 3 sims called International Schools Island, which Chris and I built. In fact, I did most of the work. He just pays the invoices that come from Linden Labs.
True.
And you can see from the map behind me, there are links on that map that are live, and clicking on the different places will actually teleport you to them, or give you a landmark so you can go there later. Around us, you can see some towers, and in those towers, we're building a 3D index of Second Life itself, specifically for educators. So the towers are full of links, resources and tools, mostly free, that are relevant to teachers and learners. But Chris, you don't want me to talk about International Schools Island, do you? You want me to talk about some of the weekly meetings we try and attend, isn't that right?
Well, actually, I'd love you to talk about International Schools Island, but maybe we should talk about the 3 groups we said we'd tell people about. And I hope you brought the PowerPoint presentation. PowerPoint.
Yep, I do have the PowerPoints, of course.
Good.
Apologies to the Prezi community, they're not Prezi presentations. Okay, let's walk over to my fancy director's chair. Before we start, I'd just like to draw attention to the white spot that you can probably see hovering over my head. This spot shows that my computer is set up to use voice. Probably means I have a headset and a microphone attached. And when I speak, you'll see green radio waves emanating from that spot. This is a visual indicator that I'm the avatar speaking, and it's very useful when you have a group of avatars talking, and you can't distinguish which one it is that's talking. Okay, moving on. The visuals are here in this Death by PowerPoint presenter. I'm going to highlight 3 groups that we try and attend each week. The first is ISTE. It's the largest K-12 professional teacher technology education group in the good old US of A. And they do have the largest community of active educators in Second Life. Each week they have several scheduled meetings, you can see from the graphics, formal and informal. Some are about virtual worlds themselves and their use in teaching and learning, but many, many others are more general about teaching and learning overall. They also have an active group of volunteer docents, which was actually a new word for me when I came to Second Life, maybe it's North American, who offer a mentoring and orientation service. So if you're an educator and going into Second Life, then I cannot recommend more highly visit ISTE, visit their island or their group of islands. The next group, just let me change the slide. This group is called Tools Jam and meets every Tuesday night, Thai time. This has a wider membership, not just educators, and also includes those from the commercial world. All have a common interest in tools that are in Second Life or being developed in Second Life. And this presentation screen next to me is a great example of a tool that somebody has made. And in this particular case, they made it open source, so it's free. Some tools, many tools are also built purely for commercial purposes, are on sale, and the creator hopes to make a profit from them. Tools generally are built for facilitating communication with others, moving around, building, having some fun. Chris and I have a personal interest in tools for group management and those tools which help facilitate teaching and learning. And while I'm here on this group, a shout out to Jen, who conceived Tools Jam and organises the weekly session. Many thanks for that, Jen. Chris, are you happy with me doing all this talking? Shall I go on to the third and final group?
No, I'm really happy with you doing the talking. You keep going. It's brilliant.
Okay then. So let's go to the next group. Just click on the presenter. I hope the slides are loading quickly for you. Poor connectivity is the bane of working in virtual worlds, and the resulting lag is just yuck. Anyway, the final group to mention is called Train for Success, who meet late every Thursday evening, Thai time. Some educators attend these sessions, but the majority are from the world of commerce. This is a session that focuses on the use of virtual worlds, not just Second Life, in the commercial realm generally. How can they help companies achieve their goals and aspirations and make or save money? There are presentations, discussions, field trips, not only about public virtual worlds, but also about those that run privately, which we'll never see, which are behind company firewalls. So for many companies, these immersive environments are already reducing employee travel, saving money, and reducing carbon footprints. In a couple of recent meetings, they were quite interesting. They showed one involving simulations in medical training, and the other showed the training of immigration and customs officers at the border between the US and Canada. And that's it. 3 different groups with 3 different agendas as an example of sessions that contribute to mine and Chris's own continual professioning development. Chris, over to you.
Thanks very much. We thought we'd show you a couple of tools now. One is a holodeck, Star Trek style, and the other one is a language translator. So maybe we can move over to the translator. I hope you can still hear me.
Okay, so I'm going to move over to the translator that Chris has referred to. We're doing a demonstration with it, or we were going to do a demonstration with it with other language speakers, but as time is short, I'm going to give just a brief explanation. It doesn't look much, but there are scripts in this box that are absolute magic. When I click on the translator, you should see a drop-down blue menu in the top right of the screen. That asks me to choose my preferred language. And there's a surprisingly large collection. I think it's over 50, which includes many Asian languages. Thai is one of them. Any avatar who's nearby can click on the translator and choose their own language. The avatar name and chosen language are then displayed hovering over the box. So we all just type in our message chat windows using our own chosen language, and we would all then see the messages from others translated into our own language. This is typed chat, remember, not voice. Now, how magical is that? What is even more magical is that the person who built this and continues to develop it makes it available for free. It's open source. This in itself is an example of the collaborative community that lives in Second Life, and it actually really warms my heart. And that's it. Language barriers are lowered even more. Phew, this is getting hard work, and the clock's ticking, and I'm beginning to panic that we're running out of time. Let's move on to the second tool that we promised.
Okay, the holodeck. The holodeck's on the 3rd sim, and instead of walking or flying, you can fly in Second Life. How about teleporting? Come on, press your button. Teleport. Here we are. Star Trek again.
Shamblesguru.
Bit of a show off, this guy. I don't know where he gets it from. They want you to bow down.
Right at the entrance. And why aren't you kneeling?
Oh, there we go. Right. It's
If you're a Star Trek fan, then you'll already know what a holodeck is. I wonder if there are any Trekkies here. Hands up. No, let's move on. No time. The concept of a holodeck is easy. You press a button, and your immediate environment changes. If you want a conference room, for example, then press a button, and it becomes a conference room. Okay, other examples. Let's have a look around the audience. Other examples might be, okay, you want an insane asylum. Is that right? An asylum for the mentally challenged. So press that button, a menu drops down, and you just choose asylum. Let's see if it works. Well, here it is, with padded cells and other instruments of mass humiliation. You'll see that it's an interactive environment. Even the padded cells have individualized different reactions. And why would you want this, you might ask, other than being a little weird? Well, the answer is simulations and role play. It could just have easily been a hotel lobby or a farmyard or an airport lounge where language students could all do role play exercises requiring vocabulary of that particular environment. Now let's just click this scene. I have to move on quickly and try one more. We already have meetings and conference areas elsewhere on International Schools Island, but if we didn't, then I could just press the relevant button and up would res a lecture theatre. Eat your heart out, Captain Kirk. Okay, so let's do this. It's resing up now. Not only does this conference room res up, but it has screens that will run different media, PowerPoints, videos, audio, etc. That's cool. So Chris, time's up. How'd it go? Any reaction from the TEDxers?
Yeah, they're all
Looking
quiet,
around.
but okay. I think it's okay. I'm a bit biased though.
Okay, that's it there. Chris, one last question from me. Do you think the audience actually realises we're the same person?
I think they might be suspicious, but they probably think I need more time in that asylum, I suspect.
Okay. Have fun, everybody. Take care.
Okay, thanks. Catch you later, Shambles. Yay! Right, let's see if the PowerPoint... sorry, Prezi wouldn't do this, would it? Why is my PowerPoint... Why is the presenter not working? Hey, take you guys, we gave you a round of applause just now. There we go. The new word for the day, machinima, which is videoing inside things like a virtual world. So why would you want to be in a virtual world in the few minutes that are left? Role play is one of them, but not just the role play of dressing up and playing the part of a historical character. There's some interesting role play environments for special needs. One on the top right-hand corner is to help with emphasize being in a situation where you're in a wheelchair, and how does it feel to be wheelchair-bound? Other things, arts and media. There's lots of arts and media in virtual worlds. I'm mainly talking about Second Life here, but there's lots of virtual worlds. Dozens, hundreds. One I'll mention, paintings. Imagine going to a painting and looking at the painting, but then your avatar being able to step into the painting and it becomes a 3D environment with flowers in it or a room or whatever. Languages. If you're a language learner, it's brilliant. You're learning Italian, you drop yourself into a fully Italian environment where you're surrounded by native speakers. 3D data visualization is a favorite for me. How you can represent data in 3 dimensions. And somebody set up one 3D graph where you can see the S&P 500 index. So you can see the stock market go up and down in a 3D graph in real time. That's really cool. Simulations is an obvious one. There's a few of them there. I'll mention one. I bet you know which one I'm going to mention. I'm going to mention the one in the top right-hand corner. There's a university professor who, with his students, has got a whole sim, and in the air above the sim, he's built this gigantic model of the male reproductive organs. So they're the male testes up there, and they're all interactive. And he's got this, almost like a roller coaster. You sit in this vehicle, and you take a tour around this big giant, and things are being made, and things are happening, and it's interactive. You know, it's amazing. The real learning comes with the students who built it, of course. You can learn by going on it, but the students who build it, like anything like this, the actual building element with students, and it works in the real world from them doing it, not just experiencing it. Bearing in mind, tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and if you haven't decided yet what to do with your spouse or your boyfriend or your girlfriend, take them tomorrow and have a tour on the roller coaster through the giant male testes. How unique would that be? How unique would that be? There are lots of virtual worlds, and I'm just giving you a very brief snapshot of them. For me, the main learning element is the community. I now have, in the 2.5 years I've been doing this, and been in different virtual worlds, I have a global community of colleagues, but also some friends, which I would have never been exposed to. And it's the same as the real world, isn't it? When it comes down to it, it's the people that matter, right? It's the people in the room. It's not the technology, or that helps facilitate it, but it's the people. So let me finish on a story. And the story happened a year or so ago, and I was sat. Let me tell you about the story. Get the fire warmed up. I was out at a restaurant, as you do go, and it was a Friday night, I remember that. And we had the beers, and the beers had been going. You know, glass of beer. Right. I bet all your mouths are watering now, aren't they? Yeah. Glass of beer, cold beer. And the beer had flowed, and eventually, there's a nice group around the table of friends, and eventually somebody said, "Hey, Chris, you do some work in virtual worlds. Tell us about it." I said, "Okay." Virtual worlds are, you know, they're sitting on a computer somewhere, and the one I'm in is Second Life, and it was started by a company called Linden Labs. They said, no. They said, "We want to know about sex in Second Life. Tell us about the sex." But I don't have time to tell you about that. Now, for academic purposes, I have done some research. And if you want to know more about that, I can talk about that in the breaks. But I will finish with the story, with the end of that conversation. So at the end of the conversation, and people always ask about the sex. And it does exist, but it's really weird. But at the end of it, they said to me that all sorts of weird bubbles going through these 300 naked people in front of me now. I can see that, right? But the final thing was, somebody said to me, Chris, what's your ultimate goal? What do you ultimately want to get from Second Life? So I thought about it, and I said, well, it sounds a bit morbid, but what I want to do is eventually, when I'm on my final resting place and I'm about to join our Maker, I says, I want to be able to press a button and upload my brain into a virtual world. And a little voice from the end of the table, quite cruelly said, but everybody could hear it, they said, upload your brain. Well, that shouldn't take long, should it? So, thank you very much. Happy New Year.